Recently, I sat a meditation retreat, and as a tradition, you have to take a few precepts every time you sit. And one of the precepts is not to lie. Now, everyone and their grandmother has been saying don't lie. Every religion, every culture comes up with this meme of lying is bad. And it makes sense, right? Because when there is trust in a community, things become so much easier. So it is in the community's interest to have traditions and memes that promote not lying or truth telling, right? There are so many good videos on YouTube about game theory and prisoner's dilemma, on how even if a small population starts lying or cheating, uh, everyone loses a lot. So it is in the best interest of society to enforce truth telling, and societies that did that survived, and that didn't do that kind of died off. So it makes sense. And all of us have been told since childhood that don't lie, tell the truth, be honest, blah blah blah. So when this precept was being presented to me, I discounted it as one of those religious things, and I continued my meditation. uh, Around 6 or 7 months after that retreat, and setting another 10-day retreat and meditating pretty regularly, all throughout this time, I on a whim decided that okay, let's give it a shot. Let me try to not lie for the next month. Let's see what happens, right? Just as a curiosity. And I thought that okay, I probably tell a lie maybe 4 or 5 times a day. I will just have to be mindful and not do that. When I started doing that, I realized that I am a fucking liar. I tell, I lie at least 100 times a day. I thought it would be 4 or 5 times a day. It was 4 or 5 times in a single conversation. So let me first describe what it feels like, right? So the meditation practice that I did or do mostly is vipassana, which is paying close attention to your sensations and your thoughts and everything that can be paid attention to. You pay close attention to it, and you try to be equanimous with it, right? You don't cling or you don't push away. And what one of the things that happens when you start practicing is your attention becomes fine, and your intentions, your emotions start becoming very loud to you, in the sense that you can easily detect, oh, there's something, kind of like that. And what I noticed is that lying feels a certain way. It's hard to describe in words, but in the body, the moment you are about to lie and the moment you tell the lie and the moment you after you tell the lie, it feels a certain way. And if I pay attention, it is not the most pleasant feeling. What I think happens here is, we all have a sense of self, and this sense of self is like the self is an abstract idea. It's in the air. There is no real, like, solid, stable, no, unchanging self, but we all behave as if there is a self that we have, and we have um, certain attachments to that image of ourselves as selves, right? The moment when that is very active, it feels a certain way. It feels like contraction. It feels like an unease that is coming on. And the opposite of that, when there is no self, feels like flow state, where you have forgotten that you and the task exist. And it just, like, if you are in a flow state while doing pottery, there is just pottery. Or if you're listening to music, there is just music. There is no you, there is no the music, and there's So the opposite of that is what I'm calling selfing. And what I noticed was, when I'm about to tell a lie, this selfing is very strong. mm, I think I should take a moment to describe what lying is and what it feels like. So the crude definition that I started off with is, don't say statements that you know to be false, right? That is what lying is. But very quickly I realized that the same feeling you get while telling false statement is also the feeling you get at other times. That is not strictly lying in this definition. um, what I would call it is misrepresenting who you really are or what you really believe. So if I'm describing something that happened and I exaggerate something, or I conveniently leave something out that makes me look bad, or even if it's just a omission of convenience, like if this whole tangent is not relevant to the story I'm telling, I'll just, you know, chop it off and put some provisional detail that didn't happen. All of these felt like small lies. If I was talking to someone and the person was going on and on and on and I was not interested, I would find myself doing, like, nodding and agreeing just to make them stop. And that also felt like lying. There were so many small, subtle um, moments throughout the day that started feeling the same way as lying does. Um, you're standing in a public place, and you notice someone looking at you, and your demeanor changes. What is common across all of these scenarios is that I have an idea of myself. Now you have ideas of other people's mind. Like, you're constantly guessing what other people are thinking, right? And you have an idea of yourself through the eyes of other people, right? What lying feels like is um, kind of editing or trying to, mm, trying to sculpt that image that other people have of you. And this is done in such a way mm, that is not harmonious with who you are, right? And that just feels extremely uncomfortable when you do it. I think, I don't know why it feels uncomfortable. Maybe it is just conditioning that society has on you. But I think it might have something to do with the fact that there is the real you, and there is the you are trying to be in other people's eyes, and those are not identical, right? And that, I think, creates a tension, which in a way tells you that you are not enough, like you are not it. You need to lie to be something, or something like that. Being mindful of it and avoiding it as much as I can has created some interesting scenarios in life, but none of those have been as catastrophic or as destructive or as harmful as you might I might have thought. It's like, yeah, whatever, laugh it off or whatever. It's never a big deal. And what happens as a result is, uh, I am that much more relaxed. Now, have I stopped lying completely? Of course not. I personally find it extremely hard to do it. But I think the frequency has reduced a lot and my life has gotten better almost proportionally. The few times I do tell a lie, I sometimes catch myself in a lie. Like, as I'm saying it, I'm like, I see what this brain did right now. Or after I say something, I might, when I'm alone, I might reflect and like, I said that. Why? It didn't even matter, but why did I say that? And I think This is going to be a process, hopefully a short one, but I doubt it. And what I think is very important is another aspect of the meditation I practice, which is called mitta meditation or metta meditation, which is to be kind and to forgive everyone, including yourself. And being kind and easy and forgiving on yourself, I think, is the hardest thing. So the moment I catch myself in a lie, which inadvertently happens, I reflexively find my mind go, ah, what is wrong with you? Like, you are doing so well, and this simple thing you can't even do this very simple thing. And I think it in this journey, I think it is very important to be uh, kind and be going easy on yourself. It's okay, fine. This is what this brain did in that moment, and you move on and you try to be mindful of the next moment and the next moment.